Hi, everybody. We're going to have you sit, honey. And everybody that's joining online, thank you for joining. Happy Friday. And maybe you're watching this on a different day, but whatever day it is for you. And so today's meditation, all about prosperity and abundance, which I kind of love, even though it seems like it's the same theme on Fridays. It's always something different and unique. And prosperity and abundance really are every single aspect of your life. And so they fall into those categories. And every week, and every meditation that is online, if you go back through, they're all different. And because there's different aspects of your life that at different times you want to work on, but they all fall in those categories, So prosperity being material, wealth, money, paper money, property, possessions, all of that things, and anything you can kind of throw in a wheelbarrow. And abundance is kind of everything else, abundance of joy, abundance of good health, abundance of confidence, self-love, any of those other abundance of great relationships, friendships, love, whatever that may be in your life. And when we really take a moment and we step in and we look at that, they're all in there, I like to look at life sometimes as like there's this thing in psychology that it's called the wheel of life, and it's wheel of balance, wheel of life, whatever, for each individual person. And what you do is you kind of rate the different aspects of what makes you fulfilled as a person. And it's these 8 different lines that get drawn up, and if you go from the center point to the top would be 1 through 10. And you rate these different aspects of your life based on what's going good and what's working and where it might be struggling, right? And so those areas are finances, separate than career. Love is separate than family or friendships. And then you have spirituality, you have health, and you have hobbies or creativity or like fun, right? And so when you look at those like 8 modules, you can say that kind of fits into everything that we do in these meditations. And, if one area is going really good and it's up here, and then the next one's way down here, and then this one's over here. And if you connect the dots, like a little connect the dot like diagram, does it roll? And you'll find that most of the time there's 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 areas that are working really good, but there's 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 4 areas that are really struggling. And if that wheel doesn't roll, you are going to at some point have like a flat tire, right? You can kind of get along with the flat tire for a certain period of time, and then the car's not going to move anymore, right? You're going to mess up your rim, you're going to mess up your axle, you're going to the whole thing's going to deteriorate. And that's what we find that with people, it's like, okay, even if you think that you can make it roll a couple times and it's awkward, it's not going to be long before you have to address those low areas in your life. Okay, and kind of try to pull them forward. And you might also find that some of the areas that are going really good, you need to take a little bit of your attention and time away from them so that you can give more time to those other areas, right? And so with a guided hypnosis meditation, we can go in there and we can reprogram, because some people don't understand that if it's always a 2, it's always a 2. Right? And even if you put effort into it, maybe you don't understand why you keep on hitting the same blocks, or why it's so hard to focus on one area of your life and why it's so easy to focus on another, right? And from my point of view, it's really simple. It just means it's how you're programmed. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't have to get down on yourself. Don't have to beat yourself up. It's not because you're not skilled enough, talented enough, or have any of disability to manifest or create those means. It's just, what do you believe, right? And you see that. I mean, even think about, let's say, since I mentioned disabilities, you see some people with disabilities that, say they have no legs, and they go out there and they play basketball, right? They do a very good job at it, right? Because in their mind, they don't believe that there's a block, right? But then there's some people that they could have the same type of condition and physical hindrance and not try at all because they don't believe it's possible, right? And so that's a physical manifestation, but really it's all in your mind. Everything is in your mind, right? And so with these meditations, you know, everybody that comes as you're joining live, and the people that are joining live, you get the benefit of the people that come live, and I hear what they're working through and working on, so we can guide the meditations directly to them. And so in this room, I'm going to go around the room and hear where there might be some limitations, blocks, similar patterns, and then we go from there. She has a block in thinking that she's trying to dig through to the center of the earth. She's discovered that there's this place called Argatha and Shambhala in these two cities that are alleged in the center of the earth, and she says she wants to go there.
Just broadening my own personal prosperity and continuing the marvelous momentum of growth in the business. So.
All right. So, you know, in some of that, is there any blocks or any challenges that you see that are patterns that are setting up?
Yes, old patterns in my first 0 to 7 years. I've been doing a lot of uncovering, and this now seems to be the things that were told to me in the first 7 years.
Very much so. Let's say roughly anywhere from 5 to 9, 7 to 9 really, but those core, you know, I mean, you're just a blank slate to begin with, right? And whatever is conditioned to you and whatever you see and observe, you take it in as that's how life is, that's how reality is, you know? And it's so hard to break those because, I mean, let's just think about it for a second. If it's a prosperity one, right? And I've talked about the curse of the lottery before, that people win the lottery and then they're back down. But let's say like prosperity, okay? If you grow up and your parents have a certain belief system, or whoever raised you around money, and there's a certain means that you live within, and a certain conversation that's always about it, we can't afford this, we can't have this, we can't whatever, or this is how we live. For good or bad, right? There's some people that are blessed that they have a good conditioning around that, right? And that they're probably never going to fall below that either, right? So in that situation, let's take that a little bit further. You were observing your parents in that. And then your parents' friends, who you probably end up becoming friends with their friends' kids, and you go over to different households and you see that, and when you go and you enter into school, you kind of align with people that are most like you, maybe dress like you, act like you, are in the same kind of social aspect. You probably go to the same school that's in the same bracket. And then those friends, you go over to their house, and their parents have similar belief systems, and they have similar conditioning. And then you wonder why it's so hard when you're older to have a different conditioning. It's like everything you knew for the first, I would even say 15, 16 years of your life was conditioned around a certain mindset, a certain belief system, a certain type of social economic standpoint, right?
I feel like I'm in a really great but tumultuous place of like,
I love the dichotomy.
it's like I've left the old, and I'm really seeing it, and I'm really actively engaging with going, oh, what the fuck is that behavior? Like, what? And you know, actively engaging with it, seeing it, and shifting, working to shift it. Usually it's like a few days later that I'm like, okay, I see what happened, and now I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the gap gets smaller, that it's like more in the, like, oh, when it's happening, I can go, stop, like, put that back in. But, you know, 2 or 3 days is better than like 20 years. So
yeah, progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And I'm seeing that I've just had all of these fears of not knowing how, or not being ready, or not being perfect, or not being like, so that was my excuse to not shift always, because it was like, oh, well, I need to take another class, or I need to, I'm not like grounded in my body, feeling like I'm there enough to take it, you know. And finally I'm like, oh fuck, no, I just have to see it and then make a scary choice that's unfamiliar. And so it's terrifying. And my therapist basically was like, "Did you die?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, so I keep telling myself, like, when I'm like hitting a block going, I'm like, okay, I didn't die. It's okay. Like,
Yeah.
And so it's just like a really exciting, but, scary place to be.
Which is perfectly okay, and know that that's also natural too, right? Part of this is we make ourselves wrong for the conditions, circumstances, beliefs, behaviors, and thought patterns in our life. But it's conditioning, like Paul was saying, or the fear. We are operating from a primitive mind most of the time. That's your unconscious. It's a very primitive state, It's your prefrontal cortex that starts to rational reason and think and do all this. Oh, okay, let me think about that. But our reflexes are responses. Okay, back in the day, caveman days, if we went down this route and we climbed this mountain and we jumped over this river and we did this and we survived, but we're bruised and scarred and scraped up from rocks and completely exhausted, but we know that route was safe. Even if it was misery, we know that route was safe. So you know what's going to happen the next time? We're not going to venture into this. There could be like a very easy route to get right where you're going, but you're going to take that same hard trajectory again and again and again. Because you know that you survived. That aspect of saying, even your therapist saying, did you survive? Are you still, did you die, right? Like the kind of like the opposite would be, did you survive? Is that's it. We're so afraid of change because we don't know it even if we desire it. We can say, okay, I'm excited for this and I want this and I really, want to jump in. But am I going to be okay? I've never done that before. I've never had the freedom or the deep love or the abundance that I can travel the world or the whatever it is that you're looking to manifest, right? And so it becomes frightening. And we keep ourselves in our little box until we can force ourselves each and every day to push ourselves out and then be like, okay, that becomes a comfort zone. That path becomes like, all right. And so if you know that going in, it's just about reprogramming, because when you get there, then your mind is going to work for you to keep you in that realm. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it can be our detriment, and then it can be our biggest gift and our biggest savior in the same sense.
So I hate to sound a little duplicative, but a lot of what you said is what I'm facing right now. As we discussed the other day, I recently was laid off from my job, but am seriously considering a career change anyway. So part of me views this as a positive thing. It's an opportunity to make a big change. But I have a lot of fear around that. I question my ability to do certain things. I'm questioning whether or not it makes sense to jump off that path that I've been on, which is the easy route that I know how to do. I've been in sales for a long time and I know the space pretty well, but I don't enjoy it. I know that for a fact, that it's not fulfilling me and I'm not satisfied. But leaping off that path there's a lot of fear around that.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's stepping out of the comfort zone for all of you today, right? It's about, well, let's jump and let's discover and know and kind of like really work towards reprogramming those impulses that try to position you into holding on to something, right? And to possibly staying in the career field just because you know it, instead of jumping out, pushing yourself even further now that you're getting out and saying, okay, or reprogramming those belief systems since you were 7, right? And saying, all right, I've lived this life. I want to explore something different. All right, we read it?
We did it.
We did it. If you want to lay down, heads can go towards me or away, whatever you feel. Whatever's going to be good for you. There's an eye pillow if you'd like. There's a blanket. There's everything to get you comfy. For all those that are tuning in at home or wherever you may be, I invite you to lay down. You can sit up if you like. There's no rules around this. It's just about getting comfortable. If you're sitting up and you're doing a traditional meditation, I ask that you're sitting like me, just the spine straight, because allow the spiritual energy to flow through you. Hands can go on the side if you'd like, and put them all the way towards your hips. It can help just allow your back to remain straight. But as I said, if you want to lay down, it's more about reprogramming. You're going to get the peace of mind and the relaxation anyways. But let's take you to another plane and enjoy the ride. So allowing yourself to feeling that comfort. And just take a moment to take inventory of how you feel. What I mean by that is just to slowly pay attention to different aspects of yourself, your body, in ways that maybe you haven't paid attention to. So easily we go through our day and our week, even our months, and sometimes even years. And we seldom take a moment to just take time to even feel ourselves. How are we feeling in this moment? How does our body feel? Giving yourself that level of pride that you took time to say, you know what, you're important and you're here, ready to work on yourself, ready to take yourself into this discovery of you. Knowing that it is possible to change and to shift, and in fact, that's the one thing that you can rely on in life with certainty. That as the moments pass, there is no moment that's going to repeat theirself in your life, no experience that will ever be the same, no river that you can ever step in twice. And when you allow yourself to really get that, you see that shift and change is happening all around you. And today and in this room and in this place and at home, allowing yourself to know and invite transformation to happen at an even ever expanded pace. To transform you. To allow yourself to shift, to invite that you can live your life the way that you truly wish. No more holding yourself back. No more holding on to these patterns and tying yourself down to what you used to know. Just because it's comfortable, just because it's familiar, just because on some way it's safe. And I say safe in a little bit of quotation marks because safe could be horribly detrimental to yourself, to your emotional state, to your well-being, to your physical, to your everything. But you know it. But there's a part of you that is tuning in and here today because you know that there is also this world out there of possibility. Possibility that if you just open up to that possibility, if we just start to wash away the old programming inside, you can start to feel free, lighter. Maybe even allowing yourself to have a new blank slate and with patterns that don't need to be so ingrained in your life, like a new mountain range that has never been hiked. And the paths aren't there. The trails don't exist. And in that space you can create, you can go any way that you wish. What would it take to do that for your mind right here today? What would it be like to erase some of those trails and say, don't need this anymore? A blank slate. A new beginning with infinite possibilities, a belief in yourself that pulls you into the possibility of change and transformation inside of yourself. And so as you allow yourself to just take inventory of yourself, we're going to start by allowing yourself to be hyper aware of your physical body that allows for you to live this magical life. Bringing and inviting magic back into life. And the magic of your existence as you feel your feet. The soles of your feet and the connection of your toes and how your left foot feels different than your right. Feel those. And as you allow yourself to take a moment to actually dive into the amazement of you, that these feet and these toes have a way to balance you, that each and every step that you take, even each and every movement that you make as you walk through life, these feet, these toes carry you. They carry you forward. Your feet face forward for a reason, not back. And every step that you take and the magic of how this balance works to take and move you along your way in life. And as you take your awareness from these feet, your ankles, your legs, your knees, your hips, and take a little bit of time thinking about for a moment how certain cells know how to be your muscles, your tendons, different tissues, veins, skin, all of that, bone. And they are all working together to create you. All of you, all of these tiny, tiny cells. And even taking it even deeper down to all of these atoms. Electrons, protons, neutrons that are circling around. All of this divine energy, this force, but in this chaos, there is you. Complete, whole, and perfect, functioning together, separate and together, creating this magic existence called your life. And the diversity of each and every person that has stepped foot on this planet up until now, and the diversity of every single person that exists on this planet right now. And the diversity of everybody that will ever exist. And when you realize that, the divine order that pulls it all together, the magic that is circling around you right now, the magic of creation, of order. And when you can get that for a moment, when you can really get that, you can see that there are no coincidences, that there is so much that is conspiring for you. If all of these cells and all of these atoms are organized to create you, different organs, different tissues, different fibers, different muscles, all of this, that is creating the unique divine blueprint of you. You don't think that on a higher level, the people you interact with, the experiences that you go through, the events that occur, positive and negative, when you can find the neutrality in them and see that everything is playing out to serve you if you choose to receive the messages that are heard. And when you allow yourself to see this, you can allow yourself to choose different paths, to create the trails, to allow yourself to take in the information that is all around you, pushing and conspiring for your heart's desire. When you stop and get out of your mind and drop into your heart and say, what do I really want? Without limiting what you think you deserve or what you can have or can't have. When you allow yourself to start to see that you can create your reality in a beautiful way, true to you, in a way that is unimaginable even right now for you to totally grasp, feel, or see. And as you continue to have this awareness from your hips into your stomach, into your chest, your back, all these vertebrae within your spine, your shoulders, down your arms to your fingertips. And these beautiful hands of yours, the hands that open doors to new possibilities, and the hands that have the ability to close doors to old. They have this ability to throw away, to grab a hold of, to transform your life when you allow yourself to realize you're the artist. This is your canvas. You decide what you paint. what you create. And you can take in the inspiration from the world. You can feel the feelings inside. You can allow yourself to see the clues that are conspiring with you, for you. Because as you take and you allow that energy of vibration, of thought, of feeling, of heart, of manifesting to vibrate out into the ever-expanding reality, there's a synchronicity that connects. It's like, imagine for a moment that you're like a radio. In fact, you're more like the broadcast station, broadcasting something out. And as you broadcast that out and you allow the different radios to tune into that broadcasting, you can allow yourself to pick up different stations, different tunes, different vibrations, different whatever. But it's merely just a wave going through the atmosphere. And it connects to that radio, and then that radio hears that song, and then it plays that tune. And allowing yourself to see the power of you, of the vibration that you can put out for you, for your life. And trust that it's heard, that it's received, and that it will be played in a beautiful manner as you allow yourself to drift and dream. Allowing your mind to start to relax, allowing your body to start to melt down. And the more that you melt away into yourself, into this space, as you feel this expansion, even more right now. That's right. It's not about what you think that you know in your mind. There's so many possibilities, so much yet to be discovered, so much capabilities, and through science and history, we've proved this over and over again. Somebody believes they can do something. And even if the collective belief is against it, if they believe they can, they will manifest it. And then that shifts the consciousness, and then suddenly it's possible, and that has happened over and over and over again. From submarines to airplanes to running under a 4-minute mile, it continues as you believe you can create. And ever-changing, ever-expanding, ever-possibilities in this reality. And it's time to start to allow yourself to believe for you. Even if it's just right here, right now, in this moment. To believe that this magical place of floating around on this ball that is circling this atomic bomb known as our sun, with all of the tiny micro atoms that are circling around, orbiting you and making up your cells. And this level of energy. And when we get that, and we really get that, we can allow ourselves to control the currents in our life, the possibilities, the opportunities, the expansion, the seeing things from a different perspective and feeling them from our heart instead of our mind. And I allow and I invite you to go deeper down. And every breath that you take as you breathe into the pit of your stomach, allow yourself to hold it for a moment, feeling the power of breath. To relax you, to bring you deeper, the power of breath to keep you alive, to fill your cells with oxygen. And that ability to release what doesn't serve you anymore. And you always trust that there's another breath waiting for you. And that you can easily breathe in and breathe out. And you can let go and you can invite that change. You don't need to hold on to anything. And imagine if you don't hold on to anything in your life. And you open up to new, you open up to that fresh breath of air that is waiting for you. that fresh breath of life that is waiting for you, that fresh breath of new opportunities, new love, new prosperity, new advancements, new careers, new whatever it may be. Knowing that it's always there. When you invite yourself to believe. When you invite yourself to radiate out what you truly want. And you don't hinder that vibration, you don't hinder that by those old stories that you used to tell yourself, those old experiences that you went through, but you've been there, done that. Aren't you ready for something new? You already know what that looks like. You already know what that feels like. You know what that experience exists. You can predict it, and I know predicting makes you feel comfortable, but isn't there a sense of adventure that we can activate from within? Adventure that says, I want to go to new places. I want to discover new possibilities. I want to see what it's like to live my hopes, dreams, and a new reality. Knowing that you're going to be okay. You made it this far in your life, pivoting through all the changes that you've already made. You're going to be okay. You've always found a way to adapt and to shift. And that's the one thing about humans. That is our greatest gift. We're not necessarily the smartest, the fastest, the strongest, or any of that. But we are very adaptable, and we'll give you that. And you've always adapted. Think of the stages in life. Think of the times when the memories when you were just a little kid. And the experiences that you went through. The different shifts through the grades, through the journeys, through the different schools, through the different shifts in your life, through the relationships that have come and gone, broke your heart, and then you fell in love again. And it happened again and again. That's right. When you allow yourself to really start to believe in yourself. Because you have been the guiding force. You have been that pivotal anchor for you. And adapting you have done. Hundreds, if not thousands of times over and over. Adapted and altered and shifted your life. And so change and newness, let's invite you to know that this is just part of your reality. And instead of fearing, instead of holding yourself, not worrying, what is it going to look like? Am I going to be okay? Am I going to be able to earn what I want to make? Am I going to be able to make it through if I get another heartbreak? And instead of flipping to that negative worrying and those fears, let's allow those fears to start to disappear. And what I mean by that is you've always been okay. And do you really want to stay your life worrying that maybe I won't be okay making it through another heartbreak, a challenging time? Maybe I won't be as successful as I like. Would you rather just stay here then? And go through the whole same journey that you already know? Holding yourself back from feelings and experiences that your soul desires so much to grow. So we're here to grow. We're here to shift. We're here to learn. And when you're honest with yourself, every heartbreak, every negative was really a positive when you flipped the script. When you have allowed yourself to get days or weeks beyond that point, sometimes months or years, and you look back and you see, you know what? That horrible time, that memory, that heartbreak, that challenge, that negative. Really, now that I'm over here, I look back and I see, I'm so grateful that that happened because it caused me to fill in the blank. Again and again. Learning and growing, that was the result of whatever you went through. It was a pivotal fork in your road that allowed you to take another path. It was like hitting a traffic jam and saying this road is closed, but I'm going to take this one on the left instead. And when you do, you realize that a whole new reality opened to you. New friendships, new understandings, new life, new changes, new opportunities, new experiences. And as you sit here in this moment and you start to feel yourself. You start to find those nuggets of respect and love for yourself. You start to go through the memories of the joys that you went through in the last few years of your life, or since that pivotal change. And you say, you know what, maybe none of these would have happened if that didn't happen that way. That's right. Maybe I wouldn't be here. Maybe I wouldn't even be here in this room or tuning in right now. Maybe I would, this place right here that it got me to here, even if it's something that happened recently. What if this is causing you to actually work on yourself to manifest beyond your wildest dreams? To bring that creative vision to life, to allow yourself to fall deeper in love than you've ever experienced in your whole entire life. To allow for you to travel to every continent, to see the different sights that you want to see, to create the beautiful visions. Or to just have inner joy and inner peace. Finding the amazement of every moment, finding the specialness and the gift of today. Finding the magic once again. And how in all of this chaos there is divine order. And all of these swirling vibrations of you, here you are. Working together in harmony, digesting your food, regenerating your cells. Bringing in that oxygen from every breath that you take and filling your cells. That's right. And all of this is happening in divine order, and as you start to see Mother Earth's beating hard in the divine order of all of the people, all of the situations, all working together, creating our reality. And as you start to feel that and you start to allow yourself to experience that for just a moment, to experience all of this, to just take a moment in the wonder of how much you rely on all of this inner workingness and finding the joy and the mystery in life. You might not understand exactly how electricity works, but you click the switch and suddenly a light goes on. Or thinking about how you go to your mailbox and suddenly there's a letter or a package from something that you ordered even just a couple days ago on Amazon or something, and it just arrives in divine order. And how all of these systems are working together. And even as chaotic, and even if you think that they could be fixed and be more efficient or more effective, there is some divineness to what is. And the more that you find that magic, that today more than any other time in your life, you can go to the store and you can go to a restaurant and you can get fruit that was grown in a different continent, eggs that were made miles away by chickens. You can allow yourself to enjoy coffee from a different place. And cocoa from even another continent, and all of this coming together so you can sip and taste. And all of those systems work together to create that meal that you get to enjoy. And when you look at that and you see, you realize that the magic you can create for you when you start to shift and when you start to believe. And you once again. And I want you to realize that it's time for you to start to believe in you once again. That at a certain point in your life, maybe it was when you were a little child. And I mean, if you've been around little children recently, you can ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? And they give you a million different things, or they have so many possibilities. They say, I can do this or that, or I'm going to be this, or I'm going to go here, I'm going to do that. The limits aren't there. The possibilities exist. But really now think about how much more capable you are to manifest any of those wishes. You have more skill. You have more knowledge. You have more life experience. You have more tools and resources available at your fingertips. You have the possibility and the capability to learn and to grow and to understand new. And it doesn't matter if it's a system or something that you've never done before. You know you can learn because you've always learned. Look at how much you've learned right now from where you used to be. But somehow you ask people, ask adults, what else do you want to do? What do you want to do a few years from now? What do you want to create? And oftentimes there's limitations, there's hesitations, there's, well, maybe if this job offer comes through, or maybe if I can find a way to earn some more money, I'm going to buy a rental property, or maybe one day I can do this, or, you know, there's limits. There's hesitation. The possibilities aren't there, so the ability to see what could be right before you, if you open your eyes and stop to think from that narrow vision, from that narrow scope that says this is the only way to get there, this is the only road. And you start to wipe that away, wiping it all away. And opening back up to that childlike mind that doesn't see, doesn't understand how, and just sees it as possible and knows that it will find a way. The child will know that through a little bit of investigation, learning, or that they know that it's possible. They don't need to know how. Can you know that it's possible for you and you don't need to know how? You just need to believe again. Create that blank slate. Going back to that painter, painting your canvas of life, seeing that painting before you of everything you've already created. And I know you might look at your painting, you might look at that screenshot of your life or that painting if you put it into that mix. You might say, oh God, I thought I was going to paint something completely different for my life. I thought that the landscape and what I was going to create wasn't going to be this. And you look at it. You look at that canvas. And you see the dark scars from problems or pains. You see the lines and you see the different situations that are current in your reality. And what most people do is they think of ways that they can alter that. Like somebody going in and saying they want to redo their tattoo and make it into something new. They try to use the basis of what already currently exists. Or they know that they have to use darker colors to go over the shapes and the colors that are already there. They feel limited. The canvas feels stuck. And you look at it and you say, okay, maybe that dark spot over there, maybe I can make that into, I don't know. A little bit of a cave over here, a little this. Maybe I can build something out of that. That's a limited perspective. That's a limited mind, because the reality is you don't have to add anything to that canvas if you don't want. You don't have to work with any of those lines. You don't have to work with any of those shapes. Those colors that are on that canvas don't even need to remain. There's all of the paints in the world available at your fingertips at any moment. Every brush and every size of that brush available for you to use. The rollers are all there. You get to choose. And if you look at that painting again right now and you realize you don't have to just fix what you have. You don't have to even work with what you got. You can take that paint, you can dip in a roller into white paint, you can paint over any of the spots or all of it if you like. And I know what you say. Oh man, but there's some really dark spots in my past. There's some really things that are going to shine through. It's going to shine right through the white paint. Who says you only have to do one coat? You can make as many coats as you choose. You can dip in that paint again. You can paint over it 3, 4, 5, 10 times if you need to. To get to that point of clearing, that point of space where you can look at that canvas, you can take the things that you want to remain, or you can make it a complete blank slate. At any point in your life, at any moment, whether right now, a few weeks from now, 2 years from now, whenever you choose, whatever you want to include and whatever you want to negate, this is your life. No rules need to be there other than the rules that are created in your mind by you, that you seem to live by and forgot that you wrote them in the first place. You wrote those rules. Those don't exist. They're the rules that you created as a foundation for what you thought you needed to live by and do and be and exist. And if you're honest with yourself, some of those rules weren't even created by you. They were passed on from your parents or other people when you were just a little kid, not having the ability to think properly or choose. And you tried them on, you placed them in your mind and said, this is right, this is wrong, this is my capabilities, this is my not capabilities, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, and I'm going to leave it at that. How much have you changed? Even think of your taste buds have changed. There were foods that you wouldn't touch as a little kid that now you enjoy and crave. You don't think that your possibilities, your capabilities have shifted too? Everything in your life is different if you choose to see it as such, and you can allow yourself to rewrite those rules. So this law book of my life, who created these silly things? I can create them differently. I can give myself powers, superpowers. I can allow myself to know that I can learn a new trade. I can do this, study that, move here, do that, create that, have this, hobbies, passions, whatever exists. Just because you've never played a musical instrument doesn't mean you can't pick one up today and learn it with practice if you choose to do that if you wish. No limits. Somebody might have told you that you were bad at writing, but you could become the most amazing, articulate storyteller and author. Those rules, you're different. You have the ability to learn and change. So getting back to that canvas, what parts do you want to paint? The whole thing if you choose. You can keep whatever you wish, though. But the power comes from knowing that at any moment you don't have to take anything from your past with you. You don't have to continue any of the patterns or the beliefs. You can start over. You can start anew. But you never start fully over, even if the canvas becomes blank. Because those skills that you learned, those details, the learning how to paint a tree, the lines, the coloring from your past, the different things that you learned when you made mistakes or challenges that happened are with you. They're forever in your skills and your ability to paint. They're forever with you. You cannot unlearn the talents and traits. You can just add to them. You can just add to them. And so know that, and don't be afraid. Whatever you wipe away, the skills will always remain. And the more you feel that, and the more you know that, and the more this energy emerges inside of yourself, I want you to take a minute and the silence to start to rewrite rules for your life. To paint whatever you want over, knowing that this is your masterpiece, your life, your creation. Let go. Let go. Let go. So in a few minutes, I'm going to be waking you up. It's allowing yourself to go a little bit deeper. Knowing that in the next few days and weeks, you can continue to rewrite those rules inside of your mind. You have the gift of every color of paint right before you at any moment in your life. There are no mistakes, only lessons that you learn that can never be unlearned. Those lessons, those tools, those traits and skills will always remain with you. So allowing yourself to have the freedom to create anew, with the possibility and not needing to know how all the pieces fit together, because you don't have to know. And if it's new, you are not going to know because you've never been there before. Allow the energy of newness in the universe to work with you and for you and conspire and step beside you to support you. As you start to notice the beautiful synchronicities of life happening every moment, if you open your eyes, if you allow your ears to hear, as you see the thoughts that manifest and the feelings in your heart, as those joys, and you find those synchronicities appearing more and more as you allow that openness to occur. That's right. Let go. So each and every night, regardless of the day and regardless of the emotions that you've experienced, when you decide that it's the right time to fall asleep at night, you're going to fall asleep deeply and quickly and sleep well through the night. And in those early morning dreams, what are known as venting or releasing dreams, you're going to vent out any remaining blocks or obstacles, any tension or stress. You're going to say, goodbye. Goodbye past. Goodbye old beliefs and programming. Goodbye old reality. I'm ready for new. I'm ready for change. I'm ready to explore and have the adventure of life come alive once again. Let go. So when I count out from 0 up to 5, on or before 5, opening your eyes completely unsuggestible and wide awake. 0, deeper. 1, closing the door to the unconscious mind, making sure all the suggestions are locked in and effective. And at 2, becoming aware of your body. So at 3, a total sense of positivity floods through every cell. 4, becoming aware of the room around you. 5, eyes opening, coming back to this space. You can wiggle your toes, wiggle your hands, feel your body. Taking that powerful breath of life, knowing that there's always another one waiting for you. As you slowly make your way up to seated position, for those that have joined online, thank you for joining in. We'll see you next week. And as I mentioned before, you can always go and re-watch or watch for the first time any of the other Hypnosis for Abundance meditations. They're all different, they're all unique, and they're all going to help create you into a very powerful manifesting machine. So thank you for joining. What are you guys doing? Oh, it was really intense today. Sorry. Well, you know, it's nice because I've worked with all of you before, so I think like the universe was like, whoosh.
Let's just clean his act, shall we? Let's just clean all of that. Yeah.
I mean, even when I was like going and like channeling and doing stuff, I was like, woo, this is really like boom, boom, boom. If people are tuning in for the first time at home, they're probably like, whoa. So yeah, be gentle on yourself, even though I wasn't. Ah.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, just know the drill of things kind of continue to slip into your unconscious. And while you sleep tonight, you'll probably feel certain things release. Maybe emotions come out that got stirred in, or some old trapped energy needing to come out. And let it out. Don't suppress it. Crying, screaming, wanting to like just get angry or so. It's fine. It's just stored up energy. And in order to have a new vibration, new energy, you got to let that go. You know, it's kind of like if everybody's ever had an injury, and you know, like you got to work out that scar tissue or that pain or whatnot, and it's when you work that out and work through that, then you're actually healed, right? And so, yeah, you might notice some very intense, vivid dreams tonight. That's all normal. Your little boyfriend there.
Little bows.
Piggy, you're coming back?
Yeah.
It was funny, him, as soon as I was like, you know, counted up, I looked down and he's like stretching and like waking up, and I'm like, ah.
I came back. Yeah, that was whoa.
Thank you. I need some chewy kisses. Thank you.